This is a long journey, never ending. It's almost like entering into a dark tunnel with the hope of sun rays someday. Nobody ever arrives. Continuous process of walking and looking for blessing. ये विलंबित किदारा राग किदारा अब इसकी द्रुत बंदिश क्या बात है। तो ये बोलों का सिलेबल्स इसको जितना मुंह से आदमी साफ होगा उतना ही हाथ से भी साफ निकलेगा।
Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab, a man who is my father and my guru at the same time. It's a great feeling for me. I have to be honest that I cannot ask God for anything more than that, that He gave me a guru and a father in one person. He has always been very giving, caring. He's done those little things which make you feel happy. And when I go back and think about it, he taught me how to drive. He used to play tennis, cricket, everything with me. But as I grew up, I see more of the teacher in him. He doesn't say it, but he really wants me to excel. And there were times that I used to walk into a room and my father is, sitting, and I used to sit with all the disciples, and suddenly Abba would get up and everyone else would get up and I would be sitting there because I used to take him like a father, not like a guru. Sometimes I don't know where to draw the line. I don't know if he's my guru or my father. But these things I started learning. I started observing these things. I learned these things, and today I see that there is more of the teacher in him and the more of the disciple in me.
Sunil, bajao. As a guru, everybody is like my children, disciple, Amaan, Ayaan, everybody. But like my disciples' parents, they are worried about their future of their children. And similarly, as a father, I am worried about their future. So, in my lifetime, I want to see them on their feet, अपने पैरों पे खड़े हो जाए. Rest is in the hands of God.
Abba was always our trump card for getting things done and getting out of difficult situations. I especially gave him a hard time as we were growing up. I mean, when he was teaching us in the music room, we would throw powder in the tabla player's hair. And he had to actually bear all that because of the fact he was our father. This was the first time he was dealing with disciples who were in his lap, who he had to sing to put to sleep. Myself and my brother, we both are responsible for his lovely grey hair. I've been very fortunate to be with him 24 hours learning, be it inside the music room or inside a tube station or inside the plane. He's constantly teaching us, if not music, then his musings, his approach towards life. And I think that has really helped us a great deal, both professionally and personally. He, I thought, put his own name at stake, his own career at stake. I mean, there were times when he was playing in a concert hall or a festival, and he saw to it that we were with him. Every father, every guru makes sure that the tradition carries on. And he hasn't kept that only to both of us, because in the past, be it in India or overseas, my father has played with a whole lot of his disciples all over the world. And it really feels good to be associated with this great man who we call Appa. Not that funny. Nothing, we were just looking forward to
Maybe we're planning about
Are you leaving in the morning for Bangalore?
I'll prefer the evening flight.
I like to go in the morning because
I also like to go.
Because some of my friends want to meet me there.
So,
really?
मतलब 4 बजे उठो और ये करो.
Yeah, but you get the whole day.
और उसका दूसरा पहलू है कि उससे एक पहले रात सो मत अब. It's more convenient.
No, but the concert's the next day.
But I don't think so.
But Abba, it's amazing. पहले ज़माने में कैसे they must be commuting, like Dada and all these people. कितने फकीर लोग थे.
दादा आपा तो विदेश नहीं गए. उन्होंने कहा कि अगर क्योंकि उनको लगता था भाई जो भी उनको सुनना चाहता है वो ग्वालियर आ जाए. But there are lot of musicians in Gwalior.
Maharashtra and Bengal has produced
More musicians in all these places.
Yes, Bengal has maximum.
And people who made a mark in the music
are
scene.
from basically Bengal.
And lot of young talented musicians are in the south also.
Ma is the very force behind our family. She's, I would say, the backbone that keeps everyone straight in the house. And what she does for the family, she does literally everything from our concerts to the kurtas my father wears that people really like, and now our kurtas, and she's completely an all-rounder in the house. And in our profession, Ma actually guides us that, okay, do this, don't do this. She has a very strong sixth sense, which I really value. Ma made sure that our homework was done on time, the grades kept going at a good level, and on top of everything, she saw to it that we used to practice in the music room right through our childhood. When we were young, the courage of conviction was not very strong because we were the only ones doing music in school. So she used to always say what you are doing is something very unique because you are very focused since a young age. So she kept our morale going, and she is the lady I look up to.
In our country, the respect women deserved could not get because in schools and college still children are known by their father's name only. Children are introduced only by father's name. So I have told Amaan Ayaan, I said, your mother has given you so much time and she is a greater guru for you.
Just क्या dance में used to play that taka takita बोल क्या था?
Taka takita बजाओ.
Gave them values and tradition.
We are so lucky because Ma's learned all the notation from Kalakshatra, the theory part.
And wherever they perform, they should always mention her name. I won't be happy that just my name is mentioned. So they should always say that Amaan Ali Bangaah, Ayaan Ali Bangaah, they are the children or disciple of Subbulakshmi and Amjad Ali Khan.
Amaan, Ayaan, देखो Takita is 3. Takadhimi is 4. Takatakita is khanda, 5. Then Mishra is Takita Takadhimi, Takita Takadhimi. Huh? Takatakita Takadhimi, Takatakita Takadhimi. This is Sankirna. Takatakita Takadhimi, Takatakita Takadhimi, Takatakita Takadhimi, Takatakita Takadhimi, Takatakita Takadhimi. ये अच्छा हो जा रहा है. Takatakita Takadhimi, बस बहुत हो गया. बस कर. ये बहुत ही आयान. क्या करें इसको लेके?
Get rid of him.
My mother, Subbalakshmi Khan, is a wonderful lady. At one time before they got married and they had actually met, my mother was charging much more than my father as a Bharatnatyam dancer. And she went to Kalakshetra, did dance for 15 years with a lot of dedication, and she just gave it up overnight, such a big art form for the family, for my father, my brother and myself. I mean, she had that much of faith in God and in her husband and in her children. She's a secretary to my father, my brother and myself. She's the boss of the house. And at the same time, you know, if I have a brush which is broken or something and I have not noticed it, and I just like go out of town for a concert, and when I come back, I see that the brush has been replaced. So the little things which makes her so special is amazing.
God has been very kind to us. The boys, Amaan and Ayaan, they get angry when I say boys. Amaan and Ayaan, now they're matured, grown-up human beings. I think responsibility is very strong on their shoulders. But with God's grace, I hope they will be able to maintain. And how great they are, I do not know, time will prove. But they are working very hard.
I asked them what would they like to play.
Okay.
And many times after a concert, after a recital, they wanted to know my reaction about their performance. I never said that it was wonderful performance or it was a bad performance. I always told them that they must listen to their recording, because each concert was recorded. And this is the way they have discovered themselves, through their recordings. So I didn't influence that every phrase should sound like Amjad Ali Khan. You know, a phrase by Amaan should sound like Amaan. A phrase by Ayaan should sound like Ayaan.
It's really a euphoric feeling when I'm sitting on stage with my father, because at that point of time, there are two things that I have to keep in mind. One is obviously the expectations of the audience, that they expect you to play well. And the other thing is the expectation of your father and guru, who's sitting there with his sarod looking at you. I really feel intimidated when he's on stage, because he would do these last minute changes in plan. And then we have to keep up with that, so it really gets challenging at times.
While sitting, listening to your guru on the stage, while sitting, just listening to your father or any great musician, I think it's a way of life. It is, you learn a lot.
Apart from me being a sarod player and the interest that I have for sarod and music, I have a lot of other passions also which I love pursuing. It's like I love photography, I love theatre. If I was not a sarod player, I guess I would have been a photographer or maybe a cricketer also. I was very much into sports.
Then Ma's face can come more prominent.
Okay.
Apart from music, I'm a little bit into painting also. I paint these drawings of Lord Ganeshas playing the sarod. I'm currently cleaning up spool recordings of the 50s, 60s of my grandfather and my father. And eventually we intend bringing it out in the market because that's something people haven't heard.
My father had introduced me and Ayaan ever since we were young kids of 5 and 7, I guess. Then came a stage where we started accompanying our father on stage as tampura players, as sarod players. My commercial concerts I started giving from the age of 16. And I played lots and lots of solo concerts, and I got used to taking the center stage. Ayaan also started playing solo concerts, and then one day I realized that people want both of us to play together. It was very hard to start playing together because there were many compromises which had to be made. But now, after 2 years of playing together, there are many things that I do which complement Ayaan. Like if I'm playing something of a higher octave, Ayaan would give me the bass side, and I would do the same.
Music is all about your nature. As far as my brother and I are concerned, we've learned from the same guru and we know each other's mind.
play together, the feeling should be the team.
It's very important to play solo concerts also. When you're on stage alone, you're there on your own, you have to prove yourself.
Ever since a kid, I was expected to be very responsible towards my family tradition. I was just not very much into it. But then as I started growing older, responsibility was coming to me more and more. I started actually realizing whose son I am, whose grandson I am. You know, suddenly I started realizing that I have to do a lot, really make my father proud of me.
In spite of all that westernization around them, they have realized the value of Indian tradition and culture. And fortunately, Amaan and Ayaan both very good human beings. I feel happy when they give respect to other great musicians. will play the traditional composition of instrumental music. Dridala, 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 da dridala, da 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 de de la, da de de la, da de de la, da de de la. It's a long journey, and they need constant encouragement and blessing and good wishes.